When Ford announced a number of years ago now that they were bringing back the Ranger to the North American market, I think said market kind of went nostalgic almost immediately. They started thinking about, oh, I could once again buy a small truck that will do absolutely everything I want it to do. It'll be affordable, easy to drive, reliable, efficient, and so on and so forth. And well, when the current generation Ford Ranger arrived, well, it was a few of those things, but it certainly wasn't exactly affordable, nor was it small. See, the thing with the Ford Ranger is that it's got a big, in fact, it's got a compact and a full-size problem. Now, I haven't, and I'll be blunt and honest, I haven't checked the exact sales numbers, but I'm going to go just solely based on observations. Some of it is a little bit more obvious than others, but when you consider the price range of this vehicle compared to the Maverick and the F-150, it is essentially almost smack in the middle of the two. So as far as pricing strategies go, it's a good one. But I think Ford overestimated, for some key markets, the ability of the Ford Ranger to take back what it had left behind so many years prior, when Ford decided to pull the plug on that. I mean, just to give you an idea, I think Ram, when they decided to pull the plug, or Dodge, on the Dakota, it was probably the smartest thing they've ever done. Because if you consider the Ram Classic and the Ram 1500, the two selling side by side, there's absolutely no room for a mid-size, or definitely not a small truck, though that may change in the near future. GM is an exception to that rule, where the Colorado and the Canyon seem to be doing well. I'm kind of packing it all in here, so hang on with me. And then there's Toyota. Well, Nissan. Then there's Toyota. And among the problems faced by the Ford Ranger, the Toyota Tacoma certainly is one of them. But I'm kind of getting off track here. Where I was trying to go is that with the Ford Maverick and the F-150, effectively sandwiching the Ranger, there's little room, I think, for massive success for this vehicle. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say that, well, I'm going to guess that Ford is probably purposefully backing off Maverick production. Conspiracy theories here, because they have to sell these, because these are a lot more profitable than Mavericks. But the people don't want this as much as they thought they might want a Maverick. And I'll tell you right now, if you ask me, if I was to buy a truck living in the city, that's the lay of the land right there. I live in the city and I wanted a truck, I would not even hesitate to get a Maverick over this. Not only save a number of dollars, but save a number of dollars, because this thing on fuel is catastrophe. And then if you want a real truck, then for only a few $1,000s more, once you put a few options into this, you end up in Ford F-150 territory, and then you have, I hesitate, feel bad to say it, a real truck. And then, if I circle back, you add on the Toyota Tacoma, which is its most direct rival, even more so than the Colorado and Canyon, in the sense that both are archaic, old school trucks. Somehow the Tacoma is just on another scale altogether, whereas the Ranger, it can't. It rivals, but it just can't rival. All that to say is that the Ford Ranger, the current generation, isn't a bad truck. It's just the wrong truck at the wrong time for North America. That may change in the very near future should Ford decide to do anything, stuff under here and under there. But right now, and here's the conclusion essentially, you either buy a Maverick if you don't really want a truck, but you want a truck, or you buy an F-150 if you want a truck. So in the following video, you've seen tons of these on the road. Well, a number of them, actually. I see as many Mavericks as I see Rangers. And one is still rather unobtainium, whereas the other one's not really the case. But yeah, we'll do a quick lap of this insanely expensive mid-trim 2023 Ford Ranger, or as my daughter would say, Floyd. And then we'll take it for a rough and tumble drive, but not off-roading, just a rough and tumble drive. Here we go. Physically, I mean, the current generation Ranger is actually quite handsome. And it's obviously, and as always, a matter of taste. But there's something, well, I mean, this is just based on things I've seen online, but there's something very non-North American about the Ranger styling. I mean, it's got that, just because it's got an Australian European vibe to it that really differentiates it from the Maverick styling and the F-150 styling. It's I don't know, it's rounder, it's a little bit less aggressive, but nonetheless, it's still quite attractive. Yeah, I guess that's that for that. So in the U.S., pricing for the 2023 Ford Ranger XL, $27,400, and it goes up to $40,945 for the Lariat Super Crew 4x4. In Canada, there's the the lack of affordability part. $38,480 for the base XL. I mean, essentially what you're getting is a box, a few doors, an engine, transmission, and that's all you get for just shy of $40,000. Yeah. And then if you go all the way up to the Lariat, you're looking at $46,765, but you can pile on a lot of options. For example, my mid-trim Ranger XLT, which with the crew cab and 4x4 and all of that starts at $42,215. Now what you get in there is you get Sync 3, you get satellite radio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a bunch of other stuff. But my truck has a number of options. You may have noticed that there's a lot of blacked out business on that. So that's the black appearance package, which is ridiculously expensive as far as I'm concerned. I think it's $2,500. So, black 18-inch wheels. Then you get the technology package, adaptive cruise control, navigation, and then the one package that really matters, and that is the right there. I only just now noticed that there's only one FX4 sticker. I've never noticed that before. Well, how about that? You and I just went on a voyage of discovery. Is that a mistake? I'm going to have to pay attention to other Rangers I see on the road. Anyway, so what you're looking at right here, this Ford Ranger XLT with a few options is almost exactly $50,000. That's before all other related fees. $50,000. Just to give you an idea, okay? So if you go for a base F-150 XL 4x4, it retails, starts at about $50,000. Okay, so it's just a naturally aspirated V6 and other stuff, but still. If you want a Maverick, right, it starts at about $31,000, and for an extra, and that's for the hybrid, if you can, anyway. And if you want 2-liter turbo with all-wheel drive, you're at about $500 over that. That's, again, for the base XL. And if you pack on, it just doesn't look good for this. And once you get in, I mean, it's a very, very basic truck. Okay, so, oh yeah, so 5-foot bed, right? And speaking of the Maverick's bed is about 5.5 inches shorter than the Mavericks. The Maverick's bed is about 5.5 inches shorter than the Ranger's. When you get the crew cab, of course, because then if you get the other cab, not the crew cab, dope. I forget the name of the cab. Oh, Super Cab. I knew that. It's a 6-foot box, but still, even so. Let's just take a look on the inside. It's snug back here, but the kids, they're doing fine. They're surviving. But again, it's a mid-size pickup, so this is what you get for a mid-size pickup. Because when you step into, a bigger cab F-150, you get a lot more room. And frankly, this is not that much bigger than what you get in the Maverick. If at all, in fact. I mean, last year I had a lot of fun with the Maverick and the kids, and we picked up stuff. That's happening because the key is in ignition. I don't remember the last time I did that, but very, very basic. Ford plastics, assembly quality, switch gear, very, very basic. Seat's not bad. Once again, this is just all wrong. power, bass, manual, seat back recline, which is kind of backwards in my mind. But all right, so when you step aboard, okay, there we go. I'm gonna start it up. An actual key. So you don't have intelligent key or keyless entry or keyless start for $50,000 in this truck, by the way. That's part of that old school charm, but I think it's kind of wearing off. So I think that's a 4.2 inch display right there. Then you have your other display up here with Sync 3. Yes, yes, yes. The menu is very straightforward. That's great. HVAC controls with some audio knobs. Old school, straightforward, works out beautifully. This is your terrain management button. When you play with that, you get your terrain modes down here. Your locking differential, rear locking differential, which comes with the FX4 package. 10-speed automatic transmission, actual shifter. Love that, at least. And visibility is decent all around, kind of, because you're kind of sitting high. You can see kind of in the gap between the mirror and the pillar. But it's really not a special place. It's a place of business. And if the business is of just driving around town, this isn't exactly the best tool for that. So let's just go and explore that now. So, it's a strange thing where I've come to the conclusion that driving the Ranger is really a throwback. Something about driving an old school truck that, and I'm fully aware of how it sounds when I say it, but I think its time has passed. Especially over at Ford. Now, I know the Tacoma is old school, redefined. I don't know. It's ancient, and yet it's playful. It manages to do exactly what it needs to do, which is sell a lot and create, still today, hype. If there's a noise, it'll be my tripod, as always. But when it comes to this, see, again, the thing is, it's the sandwich part. The F-150 is so refined and smooth and comfortable, luxurious, even in the lower trims, and an XLT, that stepping to, and the Maverick too, same thing. The Maverick, I know it's not a real truck, but it's a truck for all intents and purposes. It is actually quite nice to drive. This, now back to the old school part, feels like I'm driving and sounds like, and the vibrations and the NVH and all that, I mean, it all reminds me of, I don't know, a Frontier I would have driven in 2002 brand new, or a brand new Ranger back in the day. Maybe that's what they were going for. There's the nostalgia part. No, but seriously, there is nothing, the word is wrong, but there's nothing nice about the drive. I mean, starting with the 2.3 liter EcoBoost, 270 HP, 310 pound-feet of torque. I mean, those are strong numbers, but it sounds terrible. It sounds like it's being overworked and pushed and beaten. Even at idle, it whines and it makes horrible, cheap noises that you would expect from, a truck that's, I don't know, at least a decade old. I mean, it's terrible. Its saving grace is in part the 10-speed automatic transmission, both being standard on all versions of the Ranger. But it's, even so, I mean, the shifts are like a little kick in the shin every time. I'm exaggerating, right? This is for video review. What I'm saying is that if you go and compare this to, okay, so Tacoma might not be the best comparison, but let's just say across shopping again, the Maverick or Ridgeline, hell of a lot more expensive just to get into the front door, but, or, well, I presume the new Colorado, new Canyon, this thing is again, a throwback. It's not pleasant. There's nothing enjoyable about the drive. The ride is really harsh to drive. FX4 package off-road suspension, which normally would mean that the ride is a little bit more compliant given, I don't know, longer travel components and all that, but I feel absolutely everything, and it's got winter tires. This doesn't have the standard off-road tires that you would get normally. And off-road is a strong word, but different tires you would normally get with this. Steering is fine. It might be one of the best things about it. I mean, it's no on center play. It does what it does. Brakes feel quite strong. Pedal travel is a little bit longish, but nothing to write home about. But yeah, the powertrain combination is, I don't know. A V6 would have been a better deal, or I don't know. This 2.3 isn't almost dead for, by accident. And by almost dead, I mean, it's only available in a couple products. I don't know. I mean, I get the value. I mean, this thing will tow up to 7,500 pounds, which is considerable. I mean, it'll haul at least, I think it's 1,600 pounds in the bed, maybe a little bit more than that, but that is very similar to what you get in the Maverick. This is a fully boxed, ladder frame truck. Okay, the Maverick won't tow anywhere near that much, but and the final result is it's not. I mean, it's fun because it's a truck, but only 1 week at a time, right? That's my job. But the final result, the thing is, with about mixed driving with this thing, fuel consumption is catastrophic. Now, yes, obviously, as you can see, it's snowing outside, but I think you could see like the lot. The snow on the ground is gone. It's melted. It's been above zero for the last 3 or 4 days, and this there's no accumulation on the way, even though it's, well, you can barely see the snow at this point. But yeah, it's catastrophic. And I've been in 2-wheel drive the whole time. Once I went into 4-wheel drive because I was doing silly things, but just once for like a minute, if that. Yeah, catastrophic meaning well over 15 liters per 100 kilometers. Well, something you would expect in an F-150. And shoot, 2.5 times more than what I returned, or what I got as an average in the Maverick hybrid. Fine, it's the hybrid. But as far as capability is concerned, it's not that far off. And I know the hybrid's only a front-wheel drive, whereas this is a 4x4, but capability. I'm trying not to bash hard on the Maverick, on the Ranger, but I'm failing miserably at it. I mean, I really enjoy it because of its pure essence of truckness. But unless you're fully dedicated to wanting a truck and you cap yourself off at $42,000 for a base XLT, for example, an F-150 just makes so much more sense if you're sticking into Ford products. And if you're not so sure that you're going to need to tow 7,000 plus pounds, then the Maverick, it just makes more sense. It's not as masculine for those who need that as, say, the Ranger. But yeah, the bottom line is the sandwich is going to eventually, I think, crush the Ranger, or it'll just return as a Ford/Volkswagen reinvented, Scout branded, Blue Oval branded mid-size electric pickup. I think that's where the Ranger name is going to end up going. And yeah, that's it. But otherwise, between this and a Tacoma, there isn't a doubt in my mind. And come $50,000 is this. I mean, a Ridgeline is 95% truck of what the Ranger can do, but about 150% more everything else for the daily driving, if not more than that. That's it, I'm done.